Hi there, Ravelry. I want to show you an industrial sewing machine. This is a Juki. The quality of sewing will be the same on the regular feed as it will be on this one. This machine happens to be a needle feed with a side cutter. See that cuts on the side? But just ignore that for now and forget the fact that it's a needle feed. The main thing you'll want in an industrial sewing machine for producing canvas bags or sewing on canvas is one set up for medium duty. This is for medium to light duty. It just means, I don't know what they do, but they set it up a little differently. Cut. We're back, Ravelry friends. Hubby just gave me a few video tips, so I'll move more slowly and speak more slowly. One thing I really want to demonstrate is this item here is called the wiper. You definitely will want the wiper attached. You will definitely want what's called a servo motor. Servo motor is all electric as opposed to a clutch motor. A clutch motor is very, very noisy, and they only go from 0 to 90 with very little in between. With the servo motor, you can sew very slowly or very fast, and it's quiet. You see the machine is on right now, and there's no noise. The noise you hear is my air conditioner. So the beauty too of the servo motor is the foot control, and my husband is going to show you the foot control right now. If I press with my heel just slightly, the presser foot will raise. I don't ever have to do this. I don't ever have to lift and lower the presser foot this way. I do it with my foot. Now watch right here. Up. That's being done with my foot, and he'll show you now what my foot is doing. See, I'm just touching it with my heel, very slightly, and the foot goes up and down. You never have to use your hand to raise the presser foot. Your hand's free. Can you show that a little closer? Here goes the presser foot, up and down. Perfect. Up and down. Also, Ravelry, ignore this hole right here. That's something else. That's where when I use the cutoff, the cuttings go down there, so just ignore that. Up and down. And the servo motor is very important, and the wiper is very important. I'll show you that right now. Sewing slowly. All right, I will lift the presser foot, put the fabric under. This is my reverse, or you can have this programmed to be other functions, but I'll just sew slowly. You can sew one stitch at a time by just tapping with your toe, or you can sew very fast if you want. I'll sew all the way to the end here. Now, the wiper comes in here. When I press firmly with my heel, as he showed you before, when I press firmly with my heel, the needle will lift up. Right now, you see that the needle always stops in the down position. That's something you will want to have. I can lift the presser foot and see the needle is still in the fabric. You can turn and sew and turn and sew without with the needle down, and you get a good look. Now, to remove your fabric, I'm going to press with my heel and watch what happens. There we go. That's it. I'll show you that again. If you're sewing along, you're ready to remove your fabric. Press firmly with the heel. Now, what you just saw was the presser foot lifted, the needle went up, the presser foot lifted, and this little wiper went click. The thread was cut here, and then this clicked up in 1/10 of a second. And what that does is it flips your loose thread out and to the back. So you never have to pull your thread out, cut, and then smooth it backwards to start sewing again. Don't ever have to do that. Wonderful. Here we go. I'll watch it. Now we're just sewing along slowly, fast, slow, backwards, forwards, slow. And now we're going to remove the fabric. And now we're going to start sewing again without ever touching the thread, fiddling with presser feet, cutting. You just go skip, cut. This is because you have a servo motor and because you have the wiper, the automatic automatic thread cutter below. I think you'd have to request the automatic thread cutter. I use a control panel. I use a control panel which allows me to do automatic beginning and ending stitches. This is going to go forward, back, forward. All right, watch down here. Did you see that? It went forward, back, and forward. Now, when I cut and remove my fabric, the first thing it will do is the securing stitches. Cut, swipe, and you're ready to go again. So watch the securing stitches. And you can see here, right here, where the machine automatically went backwards, forwards, lifted the needle, cut the thread, and the wiper pushed the loose thread forward. The back looks like this. You see, there's not a whole big long bundle of thread that you have to cut off later. Here was the beginning where it went forward, back, forward. See, there's not a lot of thread there to be cut off, and there's none on the front. It's fabulous. And you notice here, there's just a little bit of thread left, and there's no thread that you can see coming up out of the hole. Normally, a home sewer would pull the thread out and push both threads backwards. This machine and any of the other Juki models will pick the thread up from below and sew. I'm going to turn off that. I don't use the securing feature. So. There it is. There it is. You see here, that thread was secured, and this one was not because I turned it off. And there you go. Not a lot of thread. This is light thread on the bottom and dark on the top. This is just regular Gooderman sewing thread. This machine, even though it's set up for light, medium to light, it will sew heavy. You put in a heavier needle, it has a bigger eye, and it will sew through layers of upholstery fabric. And most of the Jukis will do that unless they're set up for very, very light fabrics like lingerie and whatnot. The needle inserts differently. The needle itself is round, so instead of having a flat side to your needle that goes to the back, these needles are completely round. I'm spinning it, and you can see the needle is completely round. It inserts so that the thread threads from left to right, not front to back, that you're used to, but the thread goes from left to right, and the little scoop in the needle is called the scarf. The scarf always points to the right because underneath here is your bobbin, and your bobbin is going like this, and the little arm comes up and scoops the needle this way, as opposed to a home machine, which probably yours does like this, so it's just set at a right angle. But you have to be sure when you insert your needle, because it's round, that your scarf is to the right. That's about it, I think. Let me show another. One stitch at a time. Lift and lower with your foot. Forward, lift and turn. You want to sew a right angle. If you want, you can lift and turn and then sew backwards to make a square. If you can aim that well. Oops. And then turn it this way to close your square. One more, and go this way. And there you go. That's a crude square, but there it is.